listening to the SCV Connected podcast with my mom, Kelly O'Keefe.
I'm here with Samantha Welch from Fit for Mom. Fit for Mom is exercise, companionship, and support. Sam, how did we get here involved with Fit for Mom?
Well, I became a mom,
Okay.
right? Step one.
Yeah.
So I had Parker, my first daughter, and when I was about 5 weeks postpartum when I went to Fit for Mom. I think it was a Google search, postpartum fitness, or what can I do, or some kind of search, right?
Okay.
And somehow I found them. And was going back and forth because, of course, I couldn't even work out being like only 2 or 3 weeks postpartum. So it was one of those things like a light at the end of the tunnel, like, okay, when I get clearance from my doctor, I can go work out.
Nice.
So they had a manager named Stacy at the time. And I remember just like I was messaging her back and forth, asking questions. I was so nervous though. So my postpartum depression was like off the charts. Postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety. And I said to Stacy, the only way that I'm coming to class is if I can bring my husband with me. And it's like moms working out.
Right.
There's no husbands. Most of the husbands are like working, and she's like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, I just want him to sit on the park bench. And just because if my baby cries, I won't know what to do. What I've found now from owning it, kind of flash forward, is I am not the only one who feels that nervous to start something like this. Your life has been turned upside down. You have a new baby. You're anxious and nervous. Your body's different. You want to meet mom friends, but you don't know who they are. And it's just so overwhelming.
You're so right.
The first step, honestly, is the hardest step. Getting your body out of the house and to the park for the very first workout. And I thank God that I went, honestly, because what I found there was women who understood what I was going through. If my baby was crying, no one was like looking at me or like, God, shut this baby up.
Right, right.
People were like, oh, how old is she? Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Oh, okay. And you could put your baby in a carrier, or you could nurse your baby like in the middle of class. Like you could just like stop working out. The instructors would offer to like hold my baby if I wanted to continue working out, if my baby was crying, and just like, oh my gosh, okay, so you're my new people.
Right.
And that's where it started. I was just a member for a little over a year.
Okay.
So I kept going to classes. And I do remember, though, finding out who the owner was. I went to high school with her. And I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, she started this? That is so cool. Like, I wish I would have thought of that. And then finding out later it's actually a franchise. She didn't start it, but she owned this particular location. And she reached out to me in the beginning of 2019, and she was like, look, I'm ready to sell and focus on what I was doing for my college degree. Are you interested in buying? And I'm like, yes. But like, what?
Yeah.
But okay, I am. Let me talk to my husband.
Right.
Don't offer it to anybody else.
Right.
Like, let me just talk to my husband really quick. And then the rest is kind of history.
So let's elaborate on that a little more. Did you always see yourself in health and wellness?
Actually, yes.
You did?
So
Okay.
I always dreamed of doing like kinesiology and being in sports medicine and traveling with like a sports team or something along those lines. Like, so health, wellness, medicine. I was like, should I be a nurse? Like that kind of thing. And then ironically, I went to college for interior design, which I've always loved too. That's just what I chose to do with my life. Okay. So when it came back, it was kind of like, oh, okay, like full circle of what I've always been interested in.
What's one thing that you didn't expect?
Well, I'd never owned a business, so really I didn't expect any of it. It was hard. It's still hard, but I would say for the first 6 months, I was just like in this overwhelm of learning procedures and how to create my website, how to run the programs, like how to talk to people, how to lead people. Like now all of a sudden I had a staff of like 8 people. And they were looking to me for guidance. And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm still trying to learn how to run a business. And so I think a lot of what I've learned that maybe I didn't expect was leadership, like digging deep, changing myself so that I can be better for other people and know how to talk to them and know how to listen. Everybody's personality is so different. And at first there was some crashing and burning with like, you know, just me not understanding how to talk to everybody. And that was a huge learning curve for me. And now I feel like I'm so much better for it.
Oh, it's so good to see the other side too. Like,
yeah.
You've taken that and then you've grown so much from it, and you almost like have to go through that to learn and to grow and to be better.
Yeah.
What about like something rewarding, like a moment? Is there like a story or a situation or maybe a person that's like just keeps spurring you on? And
I find that even if women have left us as members, I'm still the person that they call when they need something. So knowing that like they found that comfort and they know that it's not going anywhere. So for example, I had a member who wasn't coming to classes anymore. In fact, she hadn't for months. And she just randomly called me and said that she had had a stillbirth. Out, you know, and kind of out of nowhere. So it takes you back a little bit. You're like, oh my gosh, okay, what can I do for you? I'm like, can I set up a food train? Like, I just, you know, what do I, my first instinct was like, what do I do? How do I help you? And she was like, yes, please. So she was just like reaching for something and knew that we had a community to help her because she didn't really have that community out here for herself. So we rallied, and I think we gave her meals for 20 days.
Oh my gosh.
And it was really fantastic. And she now has her rainbow baby. So that's fantastic. And like I've kept up with her, and she even lives in a different state now. I think just knowing that we're here and people know that regardless of if they still work out with us or not, like we are the community of moms that they can turn to when and if they need us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have to be a Fit for Mom member, or can you join like a social network?
Oh, we have a group on Facebook called the Fit for Mom Village. Okay. So you do not have to be working out with us, though the workouts are great and you can bring your kids, and we even have like high intensity interval like training for people who have phased out of the strollers. Right. So their kids are now in school and they're like, well, I'm not going to come to your morning classes. Like, okay, girl, that's fine. Just come to our boot camp classes.
Yeah. A body boost at night. I'm like, okay, honey, you're putting the kids to sleep and I'm going to go work out.
Yeah. And like just getting that time by yourself, like away from everybody else.
I like that the classes appeal to all different schedules and all different stages of life. So you could be a working mom. You could be a mom that's home. There's classes during the day, classes online, classes in the evening.
Right. We have like early 5:30 a.m. classes, which are just for some people. Yeah. I'm an early riser. I like to do it, so I'm the one who coaches it.
Nice.
And then we've got weekend classes like Run Club, and then days, which we call Dadder Days. Nice. So you can like bring your spouse with you. Nice. Really, it's just a way to bring a family member with you because we know that weekends are normally for family. Right. So like your mother-in-law, your sister, your husband, your wife, whoever you want to bring, they can come for free as long as you have a membership with us.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you would tell someone that's interested in maybe going into their own franchise for Fit for Mom?
Oh my gosh.
Or maybe it's a health and wellness business that they just want to start and they're passionate about.
Right. Go for it.
Go for it. Okay.
There's no better time than now. The best time was probably yesterday. So the next best time is right now. So I was just talking about this yesterday. People have asked me like, how do you do it all?
Yeah.
And you know,
how do you?
You're a unicorn. I'm like, I'm not. I
see you online and it seems like because you're pushing out content.
Right.
And so I'm so fascinated about this, especially with moms that are working and have small businesses. Yeah. So how are you creating content, pushing it out, running your business, running your family, and doing all the things?
I think it's not about getting more hours in a day. It's about switching what I do in those hours. For example, if I get rid of Netflix and that takes an hour of my day, you know, now I have an extra hour to do something else. If I take out like a morning Starbucks trip that takes 30 minutes, I now have 30 minutes to do something else. So it's really about prioritizing and not gaining more hours, because no one can do that. That's impossible. There's 24 hours in the day. I have it, you have it. But of just utilizing my hours in a different way. And you have to really switch your mind to what can I do for my business right now? Like, what can I do that's going to offer growth? What can I do that's going to offer like me making money? Right. And usually the stuff that like doesn't make me money happens after the stuff that makes me money. Right. So like pushing out content for me is something I do after I've made my phone calls, answered my emails, gotten people signed up for classes, you know, sent out purchase requests and talked to my staff. Then I'm like, okay, now I have this much time before I pick up the girls from school. I'm going to push out a little bit of content on each of my pages.
So it's not always what we see. If you push out content at like 7 a.m., maybe it was created the day before. Or,
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I usually batch my content. So like I'll do like Tuesday is like my content day. So I'll create like 7 reels and I save them in my drafts. And then, you know, that way all I'm doing is typing my message for that day. And I try and offer value to so, you know, maybe I'm telling you about a good carb to eat to give you energy, or how much water you should be drinking in a day, or whatever it is. But then I spend my time on what I want to deliver to you. And then the reel is just like the funny part that pulls you in to read the information, you know?
Totally. So have you found that works for your lifestyle? Like, are you able to be present then when the kids are home from school or?
For the most part.
Okay.
I mean, there's some cases where they get home and I'm like, okay, tablet time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I give myself like an hour, you know, okay, they're on their tablets for an hour. Whatever it is that I need to get done that I didn't finish, like I get done now.
Right.
Then the tablets go off. Then we go outside or we, you know, play, or it's family time.
Right.
You know, then I make dinner, do all that kind of stuff. And I go to bed early, like 8:30 or 9, like I'm in bed.
So it sounds like your kids also are seeing you create this community. What has it been like to see it through their eyes? Like of
so
knowing
cool.
that, yeah. Did your mom own a small business or no? Yeah.
My mom, she was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
She started working again when my little brother finally went to like kindergarten, but we're all 4 years apart. So, you know, she was home for like at least 12 years, just, you know, raising us.
Which is a huge job in and of itself.
Right. And I don't, you know, so that like my mind was always like, I have to be at home with my kids. But I had this amazing career pre-children in the movie business. I was a decorator, like an assistant to a decorator per se. Like I get to buy stuff, which is so fun. But I worked my butt off to get there. Like it was really hard to get into that union and I made really good money. And so when I was pregnant, I'm like, I'm going back. I'm going to have my kid. I'm going to go on maternity leave and I'm going back. And I had my kid and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't go back. Like, what am I going to do?
It's so primal. You're like, I can't just leave my child.
Totally. And I was like, and I didn't feel that I had to. And I'm the type of person who I will find a solution for something. I'm like, okay, this feels impossible, but just give me a minute and I'm going to find a solution. And I started like a health and wellness business to stay at home. And then because of the content I was pushing out for my health and wellness business, that's why Danny reached out to me and she was like, I can tell that you're going to, you know, kick it with this Fit for Mom business. Yeah. So I feel comfortable handing you my baby is basically what she told me. So
that's really neat. Where do you see your business going? Like,
oh gosh,
in the next like couple years, maybe just 2 years. Let's not get too
I'm
carried
like,
away.
you talking about like pipe dream type thing?
I mean, we just came out of COVID not too long ago. So, I mean, that had to have taken a huge hit on the industry of like new moms working out, just bringing your kids.
COVID sucked.
Yeah.
So when I bought the franchise, I think we were running with like 100 members. And there were like 25 women in each class and it was poppin'. Like it was crazy, almost intimidating because you'd go and you're like, I can't memorize everybody's name. Even when I bought it, I was like, oh my gosh, I would take pictures at class so I could like look back and try and remember, okay, that's Kelly. Okay, that's Amanda. You know,
Yeah.
it was just so much. So my goal really is to come out of COVID and be what we were when I bought it at its peak in 2019.
Okay.
So that's my goal over the next 2 years is to grow back to 100 members. And right now we're resting around like 40. And what's really awesome on the flip side of being small right now is I know everyone at such an intimate level. Like we are on a text thread. We're always doing stuff together, like going to the zoo or we're going to Billy Bees. Who wants to go? You know, so it's just like this community right now that is so tight knit. And, you know, sometimes when you get bigger, that can lose itself a little bit, or you'll get different groups of the moms that are really close together, which is still awesome because you're finding your people.
Right.
But I think if I'm trying to find like the bright light in what we have right now as a small group is that it's just so personal.
Right. So what do you love about teaching fitness classes outside?
We're in Southern California, so we're really lucky. Yeah. There's a lot of other franchises like throughout the nation who have to be indoors for like 4 or 5 months out of the year, you know, so we work out at the mall if it's pouring rain, but that's like once in a blue moon.
Right.
Otherwise, we're outside like getting sunshine and boosting our endorphins, and it's just, I love being outside. Right. I feel like it's good for the mind and the soul, you know, to get outside.
Truly, yes. And the parks are so beautiful. I mean,
I know.
All the locations you've picked. So go ahead and go over some of the locations.
All right. So we're mainly at Bridgeport Park in Valencia. It's kind of like a central hub in Santa Clarita. So it's easy. It's huge. There's so many spots to go there. So it's a good park to be at.
And then you always meet around the restrooms, like where's the central playground?
Typically we're like find a playground and the bathrooms are usually next to the playground and we meet there. It's just kind of been like the easiest way to be like, that's how you find us. Yeah. Find the playground, find the mamas.
Right.
We're at Fair Oaks Park in Canyon Country. One day a week. We're at Heritage Park for Run Club mostly because it's off the Paseos. But we're there for Saturday classes as well. And you know, every once in a while we'll go inside my gym and rent out that space.
Nice.
And usually we'll do it for like our prenatal classes where we want the moms to be in a little more comfortable conditions, not like in the frigid cold or anything like that. Because
Which is like what, 68 or something?
I know, when you know you're wearing your Ugg boots when it's
right.
Yeah, 68. Aww. That's hilarious. Totally.
It is kind of cold.
I know. I'm like, have you seen the jacket I came in here with?
Right?
It is like I'm a snowman.
So nice. No, but I love that you utilize like other businesses too. You partner with them in town. And I mean, you've created, what was it, like a community day where you partnered with other small businesses.
So the Celebration of Moms.
Celebration of Moms.
Tell us about that. Mother's Day every year. We try and make it a big to-do because we're a fitness organization for moms. So what's our biggest holiday? Mother's Day. So what we try and do is partner with local businesses so they can, usually we'll have them like donate something that we can raffle off to our moms. So we've had like sports bras, gift certificates, coffee, cooking classes, wine bottles. I mean, you name it. We've had stuff from like all the companies in Santa Clarita, I feel like. And we'll do raffles. Last year we did like a pop-up shop type thing in the parking lot of my gym.
And there was different vendors, and then you could sample classes.
Right.
So if you're a small business and you're listening,
I know.
You'll have to connect with Samantha on how you can donate and participate and be part of that.
Yes. And then in exchange, we do share this company like with our whole mom base. Nice. You know, we'll put you in our newsletter. We'll put you on our website. And so your name is getting out there to all of our mamas and our email list as well. So it really is a way for you to give to our moms, but for us to give back to your business that you have in Santa Clarita, which is important to me because we rise by lifting others.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
As a new mom, sometimes your whole network of small businesses change. Like you're like, okay, now I need a kids orthodontist, or I need different types of businesses that I normally wouldn't have gone to. But yeah.
Right.
So Sam, what would you say to a brand new mom who finds you online or finds you through word of mouth and is going to come for the first time but is hesitant? What do they need to know?
They need to know that it is a little bit nerve-wracking, but every single woman that is there felt the same way. So when you do come, they kind of embrace you, right? There's always going to be somebody who will walk alongside you who's like, I want to know your story. And so I think you'll realize right away that you're like, oh, okay. I just had a woman that I called the other day. And so if I have a phone number, I'm calling you. So I call her and I'm like, hey, I noticed that, you haven't signed up for a class yet. Can I get you started? And she's like, oh, I'm shy and nervous. This is why I haven't messaged you back, because she wasn't returning my emails, but she answered her phone. So that was good. And I just kind of chatted with her and I'm like, okay, well, I'll be there at least. So you'll know one person, because now we've talked on the phone together, right?
Which is super personal.
Right. Because now she can hear my voice.
Through text message.
Right. She's like, oh, this is Samantha. She's a person. She was nice.
Yeah.
We had a connection. We laughed a little, And then she came to class, and after class, I sent her an email. I'm like, how did it go? How are you feeling? And she was just like, I am so excited to come back for my next class. So I think if you need your husband to come sit on the park bench, do it. If you come nervous, call me and tell me, and I will be next to you the whole class. Whatever it is, just get yourself out, because you don't know what you're missing by not going.
That's so true. And we don't make it awkward, because at the beginning of every class, there's sort of a formula to it, a script that we follow, if you will. So we introduce ourselves, and then we do an icebreaker around the circle while we're stretching. And I love those. What is one thing in your diaper bag that you can't live without? Or sometimes it's around Thanksgiving, what are you thankful for?
Right.
And just taking that moment to
and that's
practice gratitude. Or some of the funnier ones are where's the funniest place you've changed a diaper? Or, but you're building community, and you're just realizing right from the beginning you're not alone.
Right. And I think that's some of the secret sauce that Fit for Mom offers that you're not going to find at another gym.
Right.
And it's fostering the mom-to-mom connection. We also foster the mom-to-baby connection, how we do, jumping jacks in the ABCs, or squats with tickles, or, high fives with squat jumps, or whatever it is, but incorporating your child into this workout time. So now it becomes they're important and they're there for a reason. But yeah, I love the icebreaker questions. And that's exactly the point, is to be I'm Samantha. These are my kids, Parker and River. They're this old. And, if money wasn't an object, this is where I would go on vacation. And then another mom will be like, oh my gosh, I've been to Bora Bora.
Right.
And then it just gets this organic conversation going. Totally. Whereas you're not just sitting there warming up or stretching, and you're like, okay, is everyone looking at me?
Yeah.
This is weird. And then moms will be like, oh my gosh, Kelly, in warm up, you said this. Did you actually go there? Or whatever it is. And it opens the doorway for a relationship to start right away.
Yeah. Or someone might be like, oh my gosh, what's it going to be like to travel with kids? And someone will be like, oh my gosh, girl, I did this. We went on the plane. You
need to buy these 10 things to go on an airplane with a baby.
It takes off from there.
Yeah.
And then what I love that I didn't realize before I joined Fit for Mom was that your baby's not forced to be in the stroller in one spot. We move around the park, which helps so much, because the visualization around the child changes as you're moved from location to location. The stimulation of just being on the go helps the child. I'm like, oh my gosh, there is a method to the magic.
There totally is. Yeah. So, we try, exactly. We don't want the kids to get fussy. And you'll notice that we'll move to one spot, do a station, and usually towards the end of that station, the kids, you'll still start to hear the wiggles or I want to get out of the stroller. And then we're like, all right, and we're off, and we switch, and then the kids are fine.
I know. You'd really think oh my gosh, maybe all these babies are crying, but no, majority of the time, the kids are enjoying
And if there
it.
is, we're like, whatever, I'll pull my bubbles out.
Yeah.
I have a book. I'll go read books to the babies. Moms can put their kids in a carrier. We have modifications for all the moms, pregnancy or baby wearing. So we're able to offer you, just put your baby on, I'll show you what to do. So you're still going to get a workout in.
Yeah.
I tend to hold at least one baby per class.
Oh, I know. And so it's funny, because those of us that have kids that are in grade school now, it's such a blessing for us too. To hold a newborn again. You're just oh my gosh, I forgot how much I missed it.
I know.
So it's neat how it blesses each other. It might bless that new mom.
Right.
Getting to hold the baby for her so she can get a
gosh,
workout.
Yeah.
And then,
because I remember Christine holding Parker.
Really?
And I was like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, because her 3 sons were older.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, and like, you're just like, wow, this is great.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it feels good to help someone to know, like, oh my gosh, I helped that mama through her workout.
Yeah.
It feels good to.
I mean, that's the whole point. It's
It
just,
really
I
is.
love it. It's so good.
Aw.
Yeah.
I really think that you're the perfect person for this.
Oh, thank you.
You mentioned earlier how that mom just called you right up, and I think that's just a testament to what you foster, the community. You're approachable, you're real, so I could just pick up the phone and be like, hey, Sam, let me just bounce this off of you.
Which you have.
And I have. So, Sam, the mama listening, where can we find you?
All right. So you can find us on santaclarita.fitformom.com. We're also on Instagram, Fit for Mom Santa Clarita. We're on Facebook, Fit for Mom Santa Clarita. And anybody who is listening right now who wants to try some classes, I will give you 2 free weeks if you mention Kelly's podcast.
Nice. Okay.
Yes.
You heard it here. So mention SCV Connected.
Right.
Call Sam. Slide into DMs, text, call, email. Okay.
Whatever you feel comfortable with, I'm here. It's
Nice.
really hard to not be able to get a hold of me.
Okay, good.
I have my information everywhere.
Nice. Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Good.
was
I'm
good.
glad.
Thanks for listening to the SCV Connected podcast with my mom, Kelly O'Keefe. Don't forget to click on all 5 stars. Make sure to share this with friends and family and stay connected.